Hi everyone and welcome to Sports Watch. Carlos Alcaraz defeated Novak Djokovic to win his first Wimbledon title at the age of just 20 years. He also became the first person in 10 years to beat Novak Djokovic in Wimbledon. Carlos Alcaraz remains the world number one after a scintillating performance over 5 sets where he achieved the mission impossible, something that Roger Federer hasn't been able to do, neither has Rafael Nadal, to beat Novak Djokovic in a Grand Slam final in 5 sets. The match started and Djokovic was the overwhelming favorite. Alcaraz previously played Djokovic in the French Open and the match was highly competitive until the third round where Alcaraz suffered an injury and Djokovic ran away with the match. The match started with Novak asserting dominance once again, winning the first set 6-1. It almost seems like that Carlos was like a fish out of water on grass. The occasion might have gotten a little bit to him, and Novak, the overwhelming champion, was just filling in. However, the resolve and the mental strength of the 20-year-old is second to none. In the second set, we saw glimpses of his brilliance. A set that lasted for over an hour, Alcaraz regrouped and produced some of his best tennis in the tournament so far against the 7-time Wimbledon champion in Novak Djokovic. The second set went to the tie-break, and Djokovic this year had been unbeaten in tie-breaks in Grand Slams. He hasn't lost a tie-break since April of this year. And he hardly made any unforced errors in the tie-break previously. So it was a downhill task for Alcaraz, but he held his nerves and he finally managed to break the Djokovic jinx and went on to win the second set 7-6. All of a sudden, the tide was turning. Carlos Alcaraz started believing in himself, and that same belief translated on the court. He was playing some magical tennis from both sides of the court, and Djokovic, for the first time in nearly a decade, was feeling the pressure. That was evident in the third set when Alcaraz ran away with it 6-1. Who would have thought that Carlos Alcaraz would be leading 2-1 against Novak Djokovic in the Wimbledon final? And what is even more scary, that it was his first final, that too on grass, against the 7-time Wimbledon champion. Everyone thought that this was probably going to be his toughest test yet, because Carlos was probably inexperienced on grass. Djokovic had managed to defeat him in clay, where he was the favorite. But on grass, Novak was the overwhelming favorite. But somehow Carlos Alcaraz dug in deep. Even after Djokovic staged a comeback in the fourth set, where Alcaraz felt the pressure and served out a double fault, handing the set to Djokovic, he found that mental grit and resolve in the fifth set again. Carlos Alcaraz has the game to trouble the best players in the world. He has a very good serve and he is very good from both the forehand side and the backhand side. His forehand is probably the biggest shot in tennis right now. Years ago, when Stan Wawrinka defeated Novak Djokovic in the Roland Garros final, he said that he was the only player in the top 10 who could bully Novak. Stan had a huge serve, he had a great forehand, and his backhand was probably his best shot. He was strong from either flank, and Carlos in his young career is showing the same traits. He has a blistering forehand, and his backhand is more than useful. Plus, the variety of shots that he has, the drop shots that he can get, the lobs that he can get are magical. And that too against Novak Djokovic in a Wimbledon final just shows what kind of metal this young man is made of. In the final set, Alcaraz broke Djokovic right in the beginning. So much to the Serbians' disappointment that he smashed the racket on the Wimbledon court. Suddenly, his younger compatriot was getting the better of him. Djokovic received a code violation for that act. Alcaraz managed to hold his serve, managed to hold his nerve, and was serving for the match. What was more amazing was that against a great returner in Novak Djokovic, Alcaraz didn't lose his service in the final set against all the odds. He has a mature head on his shoulders. He became the youngest player since Rafael Nadal to win two Grand Slams at the age of 20. Given his talent, he is also the youngest player ever to win two Grand Slams within such a small space of time. He also ended Novak Djokovic's dominance in the center court over the last decade. Things look merry for Carlos Alcaraz. He remains the world number one, and what is more scary is that his progression to be the top player in the world is catching the eyes of one and all. If he carries on like this, he would be hard to stop. He would again be the world number one on Monday, and after the Roger, Rafa, Novak era, it seems pleasing to the eye that someone so young is rising up. Finally, the next generation is making itself known and heard, and Carlos Alcaraz is leading the way. Let me know in the comment section what you feel, and if you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channel.